Today, I am going to offer you a gentle, restorative, and nature flow. This can be practiced at any level, at any time, but you're really going to see the benefits of this particular practice if it's practiced in the evening before bedtime. So we're going to get into some deeper postures for a little bit more extensive timing. And so what that means is it's going to be a little more uncomfortable, but in a different way. So I just want to invite you to relax and release as we move through these postures. As always, accepting what's for you and leaving the rest. This is your practice. So let's go ahead and begin at the front of our mat in a forward fold. Beginning in your forward fold, go ahead and just take a couple of breaths here. Today, I'm going to practice with our bolster and a blanket and some blocks and a strap. And if you have any of these items, go ahead and grab those and we're going to get started. So we're not going to do a lot of flowing today other than 2 sun salutations to begin with. So depending on the time that you're practicing, the time of day that you're practicing this, you may take a few more just to get a little more warmed up. But if you're practicing at the end of your day, 2 gentle sun salutations will be plenty. So when you're ready, go ahead and sweep those hands all the way overhead. Big breath, mountain pose. Good. And slowly bow forward with the flat back. Exhale as you release over your knees. Inhale with the flat back. Exhale, fold. Good. Gently step back into your plank. And let's just go straight to down dog. Taking a few breaths here in your down dog. You can bend those knees, walk your dog. So alternate bending the knees and maybe even twisting the hips a little bit just to get some openness here. We're really going to open up our hips this evening to release tension and stress and anxiety that we carry in that area. I'm going to do some reversing from whatever our day held, the sitting or the moving around, whatever it was. Good. So go ahead and float or step those feet up to meet your hands and fold forward. Good. Letting go. Sweep those hands all the way overhead. Big breath in. Good. And bow forward nice and slow. Rounding over those knees. Lift halfway with a flat back. And then fold forward as you exhale. Step those hands back to plank and go straight to downward facing dog. Good. Take a couple breaths here. Again, walking out that downward dog. Nice job. From here, we're going to go ahead and lift that right leg into the sky. We're going to bring that right leg to the outside edge of the right hand and drop the knee. It's for lizard pose. So everybody's lizard is going to look a little different. You want to make sure this knee is over the ankle so it's not too far forward here. So you can be right here with your fingertips on the mat. You can also use your block here to lift up your chest. You just want to be able to let go in some of these postures. It's all about release. So option to roll over to the outer edge of that right foot here and just let that right knee open up. You can stay right here, or if you have the flexibility and the availability, you can come down to your forearms. Always going to your edge, never crossing over into pain. Anytime you feel pain, that is your body's request to stop doing what you're doing. So pull back. Good. Inhale. And as you exhale, let that knee fall over to the right a little more as you relax those muscles. Taking 2 more unrushed breaths here. Allowing the thoughts and chaos in your mind to just settle, recognizing distractive thoughts and then releasing them. Good. So wherever you're at, coming back into that lizard. And then we're going to take our hands over to the right side of our foot and start to walk that foot into the center of your mat. So this is another great place for a block. If you want to use it, you're just going to shift those hips back into pyramid pose. So I like to use a block here sometimes to just bring my ground a little closer to me so I'm not leaning too far forward. So take a big breath in, and with a flat back, inhale, and then start to exhale over that right knee. So those toes are going to be lifted. You're going to feel a big stretch in your hamstring here. So again, you can have a block even on each side here. With each inhale, scanning the back of that leg, maybe even your lower back. You might even be feeling this in your lower back with forward tension. And then as you exhale, see if you can let go and just release into that tension. Good. Staying here for 2 more breaths. When you're ready, start to walk those hands back up towards that foot. Feel a big stretch in your left hip flexor here. So from here, we're going to walk our foot all the way over to the opposite side of our mat and then start to lay that right knee down for pigeon pose. So this is where your props are going to come in handy. You can take a blanket or a block and place underneath your hips so that you're not too close to the ground here. The main thing is you want to make sure that this left hip is facing the mat and it's not rolled open. And we're not putting our weight on the outside. And sometimes this is a practice and it takes time to get here, and that's okay. So that's where the blanket or the block is going to come in handy. So staying right here in your pigeon, or maybe your edge is a little further and you can start to walk those hands towards the front of your mat. Maybe you take your block and you rest your forehead on your block. Letting go. The idea here is to get as released into these postures as possible. Breathing deep. Good. 1 more breath. Inhale deeply. And exhale, letting go. Beautiful job. Start to walk your way slowly back into that seated pigeon. Removing your blanket or your block, pushing it over to the side. So we're going to do a fun little twisty thing here. So we're going to take this back left leg and bring the left foot to the outer edge of that right thigh. So you're going to find yourself in a little twist. So anchor both your hip bones. Mine automatically wanted to kind of lift here. So anchoring both of your hip bones onto your mat. Stay right here if this is plenty. Maybe you can hug that left knee in and find a little twist here by bringing that left shoulder down and back. Maybe you look back. Maybe you look straight ahead. Good. So inhale, getting tall with each inhale. And as you exhale, finding more space, more rotation in those ribs. Good. Take 1 more breath here. Nice. And then sweep those hands all the way over to the right side. Find a little counter twist here, just releasing your back. And then go ahead and plant your hands and then just lift your hips. And you're going to find yourself in a forward fold towards the back of your mat now. Good. Making your way into your forward fold. Nice. Walk those hands out for down or facing dog. Good. Left leg goes high. And then bring it into the outside edge of the left hand this time. So again, dropping that right knee. Option to place your blanket underneath that right knee if you need a little lift or a little padding. Checking to make sure your left knee is over your left ankle. And then just finding your edge, finding your comfort or discomfort that works for you. Maybe you roll that left knee open to the outer edge of that left foot. And maybe you stay right here. And this is plenty of work. It's going to feel different than the other side as well. Maybe you have a block right here in front of you to lift your chest. Maybe you're ready to take this a little deeper by coming to your elbows. Wherever you're at, just finding that permission to let go. With each exhale, letting that left knee become heavier, letting that right hip flexor become closer to your mat. One more breath here. Good. Start to walk your way back up to that lizard. And we're going to bring the toes into center. And when you're ready, start to find your pyramid pose on the left side. So I'm actually going to use blocks here on each side just to go a little deeper into the stretch. So taking a big breath in with a flat back and then exhale over that left knee. Finding the release in our hamstring on the left side and then also in that low back. Working to keep the hips squared so we're not splayed open to the right, but both of our hips are pointing towards the front of our mat. Notice if you're holding on to tension in your jaw, in your neck, in your shoulders, or in your hands for clenching. One more breath. Beautiful job. Start to bend that left, and then we're going to work our way over to the other side of our mat by bringing that foot over to the right. The left knee comes towards the left wrist, finding your way into pigeon. So again, making this work for you. Grab your block, grab your blanket, and place it under your hips if you need to here. Finding that place that is intense and that you feel like you can really rest into. So finding your edge, whether it's seated or on your forearm. I love having a block here. If you have a block, you can roll side to side, releasing that pressure point in on the middle of your forehead. We carry a lot of stress, a lot of emotions and anxiety in our hips. So sometimes when we get into these postures that are hip opening postures, we begin to either feel a sense of relief or sometimes even emotions that we carry around that we may have not even known about. Just invite those, invite that to surface and be released as well. Good. Coming back to your seated pigeon, nice and slow. So we're going to do that little twist thing on the other side this time. So bring that right leg around and over to the outside of that left leg, anchoring both hip bones. So mine automatically again wants to lift. So anchor that hip bone. So maybe you're right here. And maybe you can hug that right knee in with your left arm. Good. Drop that right shoulder. It's going to want to kind of shrug. Just allow it to melt towards your mat. Big breath in. And then as you exhale, find some rotation. Maybe you can even hook that left elbow to the outside of that right knee. Good. Continuing to find your breath, find ease in your thoughts. Using these still moments to ask God to reveal Himself, to refill you and revive you in any way that need that. Good. One more breath here. Good. We're going to come all the way over to the left for that little counter twist. And when you're ready, plant those hands and just find that forward fold towards the front of your mat again. So twisting those hips, lifting the hips towards the sky, and just letting go here. This is the last of our standing postures. Good. When you're ready, walk those hands out a little bit and then go ahead and find your way into child's pose. So you can connect those big toes together if that feels good, or if you like to take a less wide leg child's pose, you can take that too. So just finding a really relaxed child's pose. You're going to be here for about 10 breaths. This is a great place to have a pillow, or I'm using a bolster. And you can just rest over this and just become completely melted into your pillow. Good. Notice your breath and then start to deepen your breath here. With each exhale, feel the calmness start to wash over you. I invite you to press pause and stay here as long as you feel like you need to be here in this surrendered posture before we move over to our back. And when you're ready, go ahead and rock forward into tabletop. And then go ahead and just find your way to your hips. Good. And so with no rush to get there, we're just coming all the way down to the back side of our body. And I'm going to grab my strap because we're going to use it here. Good. So coming all the way to your back, go ahead and unwrap your strap, or you can even use like a towel or a t-shirt if that works. But we're going to hook that left foot into our strap, lifting it straight into the sky or wherever your edge is. So take a couple breaths here. Maybe walk those hands up that strap. Just letting go and letting your leg be as heavy as it can in the strap. So your arms are doing the work of holding your leg up. Good. Maybe anchoring. Might have to put your hand on that right hip bone to anchor it into your mat. Good. Take 2 more breaths here with each inhale. Find those places of tension with each exhale. Maybe bring that strap a little closer to your chest. Good. On the next exhale, we're going to bring that left leg over to the right side of our body. So you might just stay right here at like a 45-degree angle. And you're going to feel a big stretch up that IT band. Maybe you go ahead and prop your elbow onto your mat and take a full spinal twist, holding that left foot in your hand, your right hand. Left hand can come out to T. Maybe you look over your left shoulder. Whatever works for you. Staying here for 2 more breaths. Again, maybe you bring those toes a little closer to your face with each exhale. Releasing. Beautiful. Go ahead and grab that strap with the left hand and bring it back to center. And this time we're going to open it up to the left. So we're going to prop our elbow on to the floor next to us and just open that left leg up. Again, anchoring that right hip, even if you have to do it with your hand. And just feeling the places of tension, and notice the difference on this side than when we twisted. Coming back to the breath as our minds begin to wander. When you're ready, go ahead and bring that leg back up to center. One more time. Big breath in. Exhale, so if you can get it a little closer to your chest. Beautiful job. Go ahead and lift that right leg up and switch it out so that left leg can go long. Option to keep that left knee lifted if that feels better. So doing the same thing on the right side. Big breaths, holding onto your strap. Maybe you walk those hands a little closer to your feet. Toes are flexed here. Left hip is planted into your mat. With each exhale, maybe you bring that knee a little closer to your chest, those toes closer to your face. Big breaths here. Good. Bring that right hand out to a T, and we're going to take the right toes over to the left side this time. So option to stay right here. This might be where your stretch is. This might feel really, really good for you right here. Stay here. But if you want to find that full spinal twist with this extension, plant the left elbow and hold those toes up in the air with your strap. So maybe with each exhale, you find a little more space to bring that knee towards your left shoulder. Maybe you look over that right hand. Letting go of whatever you might be holding on to, whether it's in your physical body, whether it's in your mind or your heart. Using this as an opportunity to just let go. Take one more big inhale here, and as you exhale, start to bring that right foot back to center. Good. This time, we're going to grab our strap with our right hand and plant our right elbow onto the mat. And then open up to the right this time. So big stretch on the inner thigh here. Maybe you look over that left arm this time. Melting both shoulders into your mat. Only going as far as your body is allowing this evening or this morning at lunchtime, whenever you're taking this practice. Good. Take one more breath here and start to walk that foot back to center. Inhale deeply. And as you exhale, see if you can find a little more space to move into with that right leg. Good. And go ahead and let that right foot come to your mat, bringing the left foot to meet it. So knees are lifted here. Just going to lose the strap for now. So we're going to move into, only if this is available to you, I'm going to show you a couple of different inversions that are going to help just bring some circulation to your legs and bring some of that release to your hips. So the first one is, your legs up the wall. And so we can do this a couple of different ways. I'm going to give you a couple different options. You can take a block and place underneath or right up next to your hips. Kind of sitting your hips on and then just lifting those feet straight up. This is an option. This is a great option to take right before bed for as long as you can. I would even say like 15 or 20 minutes while you're reading or doing whatever right before bed. But just allowing all of that blood to recirculate here. So you can stay here for as long as you want. Or if you want to take a little bit of a counterbalance, you can bring those hips all the way up and keeping your head pressed into your mat so we're not looking left or right. Start to walk your hands up your back. Hips are high, stacking those hips over those shoulders. So staying right here, if this feels good for you. Option to bring those toes to the behind your head. For plow, you should feel a really great release in your low back and middle back. And this should feel stretching for your neck as well. Good. One vertebrae at a time. Go ahead and roll out of this posture. Nice and slow. Good. So go ahead and take your block. We're going to place it underneath your hips. So kind of where like your belt would be. And you can have it on whichever level feels good for you. You can also use a pillow or your blanket just to elevate your hips a little bit. And then we're just going to relax into a supported bridge here. Feet can be just right in front of your block, or you can extend those feet all the way, just depending on where you're at this evening. Just reversing the elements of our day. So if you sat all day, this should feel really good. If you sit at a desk or drive a car, letting go. Staying here for 2 more breaths. Good. We're going to go through that sequence one more time. So maybe flip your block down and you stay right here for legs up the wall. If you are not taking shoulder stand or plow, you can even move to the wall and put your legs up the wall. Finding your edge, your expression of this practice. Celebrating where you are. Maybe you're making progress. Maybe you're taking a step back for a gentler practice this evening. Just celebrating exactly where you're at today. Good. Nice and slow. Go ahead and roll all the way down. So we're going to move into our final relaxation posture. And you can take a traditional savasana if that is what you feel like you want tonight. A couple of other options. And I'm going to invite you to stay here for 10, 15, however many minutes you can give to this time. A couple of options here are to take your bolster, your pillow, or even you can even line up 2 blocks to make this happen. And just bring it to the base of your hips and begin to open up over your pillow. So this is called supported fish pose. So you can stay here. Again, you can use a block in between your shoulder blades to open those shoulders. Another option is to bring the soles of your feet together, and you can even place a block underneath your knees on both sides. Just getting as relaxed as you can. And your last option is the one I gave you earlier, which is where you can just take your hips up to the wall and just plant those heels above your hips onto the wall and just relax as you let gravity just pull you into your mat. Letting go of any other thoughts, any other emotions, any other plans or agendas, anything that tries to invade the space. Just again, recognizing it and releasing it, asking the Lord to meet you here at the end of this restful, restorative practice, offering up any gratitudes or praise to Him, any prayers that you have, knowing that sometimes we're our strongest when we're still, that we find strength in the stillness. So staying here for as long as you wish.
So you've rolled up your mat and you've taken care of your body. But are you taking care of your mind and your heart? In a season where I found myself completely overwhelmed and anxious with day-to-day life, I recognized that something was missing. And that something was daily routine and self-care and love. So over the next few months, I began to build new habits, a new routine, and some consistency that really brought life back into my heart, into my mind, and into my body. And I want to share that with you. Head on over to dailysoulcare.com and grab your free copy today.